Haven't done these for a while. I thought I would take the opportunity to do a video for a few minutes. There's a lot that changed. One is my little, who is trying very hard to open and close the door as quietly as she can. She knows that I'm recording, but she's now at home all day because we decided on internet school. So I just want to talk about that for just a minute because I'm livid with our unified school district. We have a school that she could go to that's directly across the street, like walk across the street. And that school's on a lottery system, even though it's a public school system. And I get that. I do. I swear. The reason I'm really ticked off is that I put in that I was disabled, and to get her in and out of the other school would take us almost 40 minutes each way, which I can't drive every day. I can't even drive most days. So I was informing the school that she would be missing a lot of school. But they still chose to, even though I went and fought the board and the school district, they still decided that she would not be allowed into the school that was closest to us, even though it would mean that I wouldn't have to drive, and that she could actually attend school every day. So we put her into a thing called the Connections Academy, which is in our school district. Well, it's actually in a different school district very far away, but it is California schools still. And it's internet school. So the upside is she doesn't have to be with others while she's going to junior high. She just has to deal with the pug and me and the cats and chickens and her brother and a dog. But she doesn't get a lot of the true torture that I think a lot of us remember from junior high. But she does have me looking over her shoulder all the time, which is interesting. So I'll talk more about it later. We're only a few weeks in. So far I'm really happy with it. There is a learning curve to figuring all this out, but I think we're finally getting to a good spot with it. See what else has changed. There's been so much. The big change that's making me furious, there's so much to be furious about, is that my insurance has decided that they are not going to cover physical therapy. We've found a few workarounds. This is not the first time that insurance has decided that physical therapy is not something they will cover for me. This is probably about the third or the fourth time we've gone through this thing, and we've always found a workaround. But now they're saying that even the workarounds will not work anymore because I'm not getting better. Shocking, I know. Their idea of what better is very interesting. Anyone who's new to the channel, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and that means that I dislocate by moving. There's different levels of Ehlers-Danlos. There are people who are very just slightly affected by it. They're just super hypermobile and bendy. They can do swan deformation. Or there's more severe cases. I'm considered one of the more severe because I have mass dislocations daily. And that tired look on my face is not because it doesn't hurt. I always get asked that, does it still hurt? Yes, it hurts. Especially the new ones. The joints that I'm not used to dislocating, those hurt the most. But it does kind of become white noise to me, like background noise after a while, because I can only get them fixed once a week when I go into physical therapy, where my lovely physical therapist, Corey, huge shout out to Beyond Physical Therapy. Thank you. You're awesome. I love you. I miss you. She puts me back together. Any joint I can't relocate on my own, I go in once a week to get the stubborn ones back in place. And then we work on something called the Muldowney Method to try to strengthen my core. I know it's a lot of information, but if you're Ehlers-Danlos, this should be riveting to you. And I've been really committed to the Muldowney Method. I've heard from people who have gotten to asymptomatic even at my level, so I'm really trying hard. But my insurance feels like it is more preferable for me to have to go to the hospital or to have surgery to correct these dislocations than to pay out the money for me to go once a week and to avoid the pain and danger, because I have POTS, which is a heart condition, putting me through surgery. So right now I'm doing a lot of fighting with insurance companies. And again, if you've watched any of these little diary videos, you will know that I get tired and it's very hard for me to sit up. It's very hard for me to handle even a 10-minute phone call, let alone the waiting on hold for 20 minutes. So that's kind of been the frustration of everything. Doing a little bit less on the blog and the podcast. I did batch everything out, so I hope none of you guys have actually noticed that. All the social media and blog stuff is batched out for a little while along with the podcasts. But please take the time where if I'm not posting, if I take a little bit of time off to try to recover or figure out my physical therapy, take the time to go back and listen to some of our older episodes. They're amazing. This week's rocked my world. I am totally girl crushing on Aode, Lisa Snyderman. She is fantastic. Please go listen. And if you haven't yet, I think one of the most important interviews we've done so far, and I really want to stress this, is the interview last week with, I think her name is Brianna. And Brianna, forgive me, please. I adore you. It's just foggy brain and I have not had my painkillers yet. But she is a PA at a pain clinic. So this is your insight into pain management in the United States. And I am not overstating it when I say that if you feel paranoid about getting on a list, you are not paranoid. There's a reason. You absolutely should be frightened. Please listen to this. She does talk through ways that you can minimize the chances of getting on a list if you're in chronic pain, ways that you can, she gives the English to doctor dictionary, basically. Like, how do you discuss your pain with your doctor? It's a good episode. If you are just want to get right to the point, I believe it's at minute 26 of that episode that we really get into the weeds on how to talk to doctors about chronic pain. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe button and visit our Patreon. We're Invisible Not Broken at Patreon. I think if you've watched this, you know that being sick in America is very, very expensive. And I would love to be able to afford some help for the podcast. If you know my co-host, Kiros, he is in the middle of some serious personal stuff. It's nothing bad. It's just big life changes for him, and he is focused there, and I really could use some help. So if you go over to Patreon and support us, it would be great to be able to hire an assistant or at least an editor to get more of these episodes out to you. And all right, well, be kind, be gentle, and hopefully YouTube won't ban me for saying this. Be a badass.